Good morning. It's me, Kenya. How y'all doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Today is March 5th, 2020. The time is now 7:10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, yeah. Get my page together. Get it together. Get it together, Kenya. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. My name is Kenya. I'm going to read the Bible. This is my Bible. This is the New Believers Bible Compact Version, New Living Translation. And the link to this Bible, if you want to check it out, is in the description. And I think the link to this is in there too as of yesterday. I forgot to put it in yesterday, but I put it in early this morning. So the Compact Bible Dictionary, Nelson's Compact Series. I used this yesterday to look up information on tithes. Somebody asked a specific question. I didn't know the answer. So when you don't know the answer, you don't ask Alexa, you don't ask Google, you look it up in a book. That's what we did in my day. Whippersnappers, just playing. Okay, y'all, so we are going to read the Bible today, and I'm in the book of Numbers. Give me a minute to check out my page. Oh, wow, I got 4 likes already. Gee, thanks, guys. You like me. You really like me. And you like the Bible, or else you wouldn't be here. Early birds in the room. Life of Key. Good morning, 40 fam. Good morning. The Wiz. Morning. Erica Bidet Vlog, good morning. How are you, my friend? I miss you. We're in the book of Numbers. And to all the people watching on the replay, hello to you too. Book of Numbers, I think I got to update that. I think that's from yesterday, right? I change it afterwards. I gotta dive in. I gotta dive in because I've been trying to start at 7, but 7-ish. 7-ish. I'm looking real weird. I'm looking at myself. It says I have excellent condition, but I'm looking really, really choppy. I don't know why. YouTube. Oh, YouTube. Let me see. 16, 17, 18. Let me jump in with the recap, and then we'll jump. Actually, let me do a quick screen share because sometimes I forget to do this part. I'm using the Woman's Guide. Oh, you don't want to screen share, huh? Well, okay, I see how you are. That's okay. I'm gonna roll with the punches. Roll with the punches. Let's see. There we go. Now let's try it again. So this is the cover of the book that I'm using to pace myself. I'm reading about 2 to 3 chapters a day, and there's 7 days in a week. So it's broken down like that. This is the cover. It's called A Woman's Guide to Reading the Bible in a Year, a Life-Changing Journey into the Heart of God by Diane Stortz. We are in week 10 of reading the Bible. Wilderness travails is like the overall theme. The Israelites are still out there in the wilderness trying to find their way. And like I said, we're still in Numbers. So Numbers 10 through 12 was Monday, 13 through 15 was Tuesday, 16 through 18 was Wednesday, and today is Thursday. So we're going to read 19 through 21. And now I know what they mean by giants and grasshoppers. They were talking about the giants in the land of Canaan and how they felt like grasshoppers next to them. The almond buds, I figured that part out yesterday. The folks were fussing at Moses and Aaron, like, why do you guys get to call the shots? And, why can't we make our own decisions? And they were like, okay, everybody take your staff, the little walking staff, and put them into the tabernacle. One of these staffs is going to bud and blossom almond buds. That is going to be God's doing. Whoever he chooses, that's who we're going to roll with. So that's what that was about. A talking donkey, haven't got to that part yet, maybe today. And a star from Jacob's tribe and female heirs. So that's where we're at, week 10. And those are going to be the little points to cover. Let's see what else. Oh man, was I not screen sharing that whole time? I think I was. Maybe I switched over so fast I didn't notice it. Hopefully. But yeah, so that's where we're at. And yeah, it says 16 through 18. It should say 19, 20, and 21. I'll switch it later. Recap time. Let's see, what was 16 talking about? Korah's rebellion, and that was one of the people in the tribe. So he incited a rebellion, or a riot, might as well call it a riot. And man, they should have kept their mouth shut, because y'all remember what happened to them yesterday? The earth swallowed them up. That's what happened in chapter 16. The Lord was so upset with the people trying to rebel that the earth swallowed them up. Chapter 17 was the budding of Aaron's staff, talking about those almond buds on the wooden staff. And then chapter 18 was duties of the priests and Levites, and support for the priests and Levites. So everybody's got some land that they're going to get. The Levites do not get land. The Levites are getting basically their whole livelihood and sustenance off of the tribes, off of the people. So the people are going to pay tithes to the Levites. Well, not to the Levite, but to God through the Levites. And then they are to pay a tenth of whatever they get from the people back to God. That is how they're going to survive. Because their whole livelihood is based off of their work at the tabernacle. So that's what they get. They don't get land, but they do get those items from the people. That was pretty much it. Those were some really short chapters yesterday. Into chapter 19. What in the world is going on? I'm looking at something over here. Okay, how about this? I'm not going to look at YouTube screen because it's looking really weird. It's looking like it's jumping back and forth between that screen share and something else, but it's not. So just don't mind me. Just listen. Chapter 19 talks about the water of purification. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Here is another legal requirement commanded by the Lord. Tell the people of Israel to bring you a red heifer, a perfect animal that has no defects and has never been yoked to a plow." Now I know what a heifer is. A heifer is a female cow, but I've never heard of a red heifer. Does that mean brown? Like brownish? Give it to Eleazar the priest, and it will be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. Eleazar will take some of its blood on his finger and sprinkle it 7 times toward the front of the tabernacle. As Eleazar watches, the heifer must be burned, its hide, meat, blood, and dung. Oof. Eleazar the priest must then take a stick of cedar, a hyssop branch, and some scarlet yarn, and throw them into the fire where the heifer is burning. I remember that combination. I think I read about that in Exodus. I remember that. Something about a hyssop branch, scarlet yarn, and cedar. If anybody remembers where that was first read about, let me know in the comment section. I'm pretty sure it was 1 or 2 books ahead. Let's see, verse 7. Then the priest must wash his clothes and bathe himself in water. Afterward, he may return to the camp, though he will remain ceremonially unclean until evening. The man who burns the animal must also wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and he too will remain unclean until evening. Then someone who is ceremonially clean will gather up the ashes of the heifer and deposit them in a purified place outside the camp. They will be kept there for the community of Israel to use in the water for the purification ceremony. So the ashes are going in the water? This ceremony is performed for the removal of sin. The man who gathers up the ashes of the heifer must also wash his clothes, and he will remain ceremonially unclean until evening. Okay, so the people that slaughtered are now ceremonially unclean. The people who burned are ceremonially unclean, and so it is purified. That's why they need a clean person to come in and get something that is purified. But once they do that duty, they are now unclean. Okay, I'm getting it. Until evening. This is the permanent law for the people of Israel and any foreigners who live among them. All those who touch dead human body will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. They must purify themselves on the 3rd and 7th days with the water of purification. Then they will be purified. But if they do not do this on the 3rd and 7th days, they will continue to be unclean even after the 7th day. All those who touch a dead body and do not purify themselves in the proper way defile the Lord's tabernacle and will be cut off from the community of Israel. Since the water of purification was not sprinkled on them, their defilement continues. This is the ritual law that applies when someone dies inside a tent. All those who enter that tent and those who were inside when the death occurred will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. Any open container in the tent that was not covered with a lid is also defiled. And if someone in an open field touches the corpse of someone who was killed with a sword or who died a natural death, or if someone touches a human bone or grave, that person will be defiled for 7 days. To remove the defilement, put some of the ashes from the burnt purification offering in a jar and pour fresh water over them. Then someone who is ceremonially clean must take a hyssop branch and dip it into the water. That person must sprinkle the water on the tent, on all the furnishings in the tent, and on the people who were in the tent. Also, on the person who touched a human bone or touched someone who was killed or who died naturally or touched a grave. On the 3rd and 7th days, the person who is ceremonially clean must sprinkle the water on those who are defiled. Then on the 7th day, the people being cleansed must wash their clothes and bathe themselves, and that evening they will be cleansed of their defilement. But those who become defiled and do not purify themselves will be cut off from the community, for they have defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. Since the water of purification has not been sprinkled on them, they remain defiled. This is a permanent law for the people. Those who sprinkle the water of purification must afterward wash their clothes, and anyone who touches the water used for purification will remain defiled until evening. Anything and anyone that a defiled person touches will be ceremonially unclean until evening. Chapter 20. Moses strikes the rock. In the 1st month of the year, the whole community of Israel arrived in the wilderness of Zin and camped at Kadesh. While they were there, Miriam died and was buried. There was no water for the people to drink at that place, so they rebelled against Moses and Aaron. The people blamed Moses and said, "If only we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers. Why have you brought the congregation of the Lord's people into this wilderness to die along with all our livestock? Why did you make us leave Egypt and bring us here to this terrible place? This land has no grain, no figs, no grapes, no pomegranates, and no water to drink." Moses and Aaron turned away from the people and went to the entrance of the tabernacle, where they fell face down on the ground. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to them, and the Lord said to Moses, "You and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community. As the people watch, speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out its water. You will provide enough water from the rock to satisfy the whole community and their livestock." So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. "Listen, you rebels," he shouted. "Must we bring you water from this rock?" Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them." This place was known as the waters of Meribah, which means arguing, because there the people of Israel argued with the Lord, and there he demonstrated his holiness among them. So I'm wondering, if they just came to Aaron and Moses and said, "Look, we need water. Please, let's ask God to give us water." Why didn't they just do it that way instead of saying, going back to the old Egypt thing? "Oh, you should just left this in Egypt. Oh, you should just left this in Egypt." Why didn't they just ask? Just curious. Let's see. Verse 14 talks about Edom refuses Israel passage. While Moses was at Kadesh, he sent ambassadors to the king of Edom with this message. This is what your relatives, the people of Israel, say. You know all the hardships we have been through. Our ancestors went down to Egypt and we lived there a long time. And we and our ancestors were brutally mistreated by the Egyptians. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard us and sent an angel who brought us out of Egypt. Now we're camped at Kadesh, a town on the border of your land. Please let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road and never leave it until we have passed through your territory. But the king of Edom said, Stay out of my land, or I will meet you with an army. The Israelites answered, We will stay on the main road. If our livestock drink your water, we will pay for it. Just let us pass through your country. That's all we ask. But the king of Edom replied, Stay out. You may not pass through our land. With that, he mobilized his army and marched out against them with an imposing force. Because Edom refused to allow Israel to pass through their country, Israel was forced to turn around. Gee, I wonder why that happened. Like, I'm not trying to be sarcastic either. I'm wondering, like, is this another instance where God hardened somebody's heart? Basically, like, because you guys were rebelling, now I'm going to make things harder for you? Or was there some history behind this that, like, I didn't like your people then, I don't like you now? Or was he just kind of stick to himself kind of a king, like, we're good, our borders are closed, no entry. We don't even want to take a chance of anybody using our resources, just go around. Curious, if anybody knows some insight to that, why King Edom didn't want to let the Israelites come through, let me know. Tell me in the comments. Verse 22, the death of Aaron. The whole community of Israel left Kadesh and arrived at Mount Hor. There, on the border of the land of Edom, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, The time has come for Aaron to join his ancestors in death. He will not enter the land I am giving the people of Israel, because the two of you rebelled against my instructions concerning the water at Meribah. Now take Aaron and his son Eleazar up Mount Hor. There you will remove Aaron's priestly garments and put them on Eleazar, his son. Aaron will die there and join his sisters. I got to go back and read 20. Because I kind of feel like they were telling me that God was displeased with the way they handled it, but did I miss something? Okay. The Lord appeared to them, and the Lord, this is going back to verse 7. The Lord said to Moses, You and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community. As the people watch, speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out its water. You will provide enough water from the rock to satisfy the whole community. Oh, so he was supposed to go over there and speak to the rock. So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? Oh, maybe that was it. He was claiming that credit. Must we bring you water from this rock? Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice, and water gushed out. Yeah, that's not what God told him to do. He told me to go over there. He told him to go over there and speak to the rock. And instead of going and speaking to the rock, he had a few words with the people. What do you want me to do? Bring water from this rock? And then tap, tap. He wasn't supposed to go tap, tap. He was supposed to speak. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. And then in verse 12, But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them. Gotcha. And then that brings us back over to verse 22, the death of Aaron. Let's see, actually 24. The time has come for Aaron to join his ancestors in death. He will not enter the land I'm giving to the people because the two of you rebelled against my instructions concerning the water at Meribah. Okay. Now, take Aaron and his son Eleazar up Mount Hor. There you will remove Aaron's priestly garments and put them on Eleazar his son. Aaron will die there and join his ancestors. Verse 27. So Moses did as the Lord commanded. The three of them went up Mount Hor together as the whole community watched. At the summit, Moses removed the priestly garments from Aaron and put them on Eleazar, Aaron's son. Then Aaron died there on top of the mountain, and Moses and Eleazar went back down. When the people realized that Aaron had died, all Israel mourned him for 30 days. Wow. Did he know he was dying? Or was it just the Lord's way of saying, you reached your time. This is the lifespan I'm giving you, and this is the life that I'm taking back. But man, that's pretty dramatic. That is pretty dramatic. Chapter 21 talks about victory over the Canaanites. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that the Israelites were approaching on the road through Atharim. So he attacked the Israelites and took some of them as prisoners. Man, these people just can't catch a break. Oof. Then the people of Israel made this vow to the Lord: if you will hand these people over to us, we will completely destroy all their towns. The Lord heard the Israelites' request and gave them victory over the Canaanites. The Israelites completely destroyed them and their towns, and the place has been called Hormah ever since. Little asterisk. Oh, Hormah means destruction. Destruction. All right. Let's see. Verse 4 talks about the bronze snake. Then the people of Israel set out from Mount Hor, taking the road to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. But the people grew impatient with the long journey, and they began to speak against God and Moses. Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die here in the wilderness? They complained. There's nothing to eat here and nothing to drink, and we hate this horrible manna. So the Lord sent poisonous snakes among the people, and many were bitten and died. Then the people came to Moses and cried out, we have sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take away the snakes. So Moses prayed for the people. Then the Lord told him, make a replica of a poisonous snake and attach it to a pole. All who were bitten will live if they simply look at it. So Moses made a snake out of bronze and attached it to a pole. Then anyone who was bitten by a snake could look at the bronze snake and be healed. Also, he didn't take the snakes away, but he made it so that when it happens, look upon this and you'll be healed. Israel's journey to Moab. I wonder why he didn't just take the snakes away. Why he didn't, was it just to keep them on track, or because all this doggone complaining? All this complaining probably help them keep their mouth shut, huh? That's just me. That's just me. What do you think? What is your interpretation of this? What is your understanding of chapter 21, verse 4 through 9? People speaking out against God and Moses, poisonous snakes coming. They go to Moses and say, please pray for us. We've sinned against you and God. And then instead of the snakes going away, we have this antidote, this cure. All right, verse 10, Israel's journey to Moab. The Israelites traveled next to Oboth and camped there. Then they went on to Ayabarim in the wilderness on the eastern border of Moab. From there, they traveled to the valley of Zered Brook and set up camp. Then they moved out and camped on the far side of the Arnon River in the wilderness adjacent to the territory of the Amorites. The Arnon is the boundary line between the Moabites and the Amorites. For this reason, the book of the Wars of the Lord speaks of the town of Waheb in the area of Suphah and the ravines of the Arnon River. I've never heard of the book of the Wars of the Lord. The book of the Wars of the Lord. I typed that in the thing so you guys can, if anybody's heard of that, let me know what that means. The Book of the Wars of the Lord. What is this book? So this is probably some holy scripture that the Jewish people had, but I've never heard of it. Okay, so for this reason, the book of the Wars of the Lord speaks of the town of Waheb and the area of Suphah and the ravines of the Arnon River and the ravines that extend as far as the settlement of Ar on the border of Moab. From there, the Israelites traveled to Beer, which is the well where the Lord said to Moses, "Assemble the people, and I will give them water." There, the Israelites sang this song: "Spring up, O well, yes, sing its praises. Sing of this well, which princes dug, which great leaders hollowed out with their scepters and staffs." Then the Israelites left the wilderness and proceeded on through Mattanah, Nahaliel, and Bamoth. After they went to the valley in Moab, where Pisgah Peak overlooks the wasteland. Verse 21 talks about victory over Sihon and Og. The Israelites sent ambassadors to King Sihon of the Amorites with this message: "Let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road until we have passed through your territory." But King Sihon refused to let them cross this territory. Instead, he mobilized his entire army and attacked Israel in the wilderness, engaging them in battle at Jahaz. But the Israelites slaughtered them with their swords and occupied their land from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River. They went only as far as the Ammonite border because the boundary of the Ammonites was fortified. So Israel captured all the towns of the Amorites and settled in them, including the city of Heshbon and its surrounding villages. Heshbon had been the capital of King Sihon of the Amorites. He had defeated a former Moabite king and seized all his land as far as the Arnon River. Therefore, the ancient poets wrote this about him: "Come to Heshbon and let it be rebuilt. Let the city of Sihon be restored. A fire flamed forth from Heshbon, a blaze from the city of Sihon. It burned the city of Ar in Moab. It destroyed the rulers of the Arnon heights. What sorrow awaits you, O people of Moab? You are finished, O worshippers of Chemosh. Chemosh has left its sons as refugees, his daughters as captives of Sihon, the Amorite king. We have utterly destroyed them from Heshbon to Dibon. We have completely wiped them out as far away as Nophah and Medeba." Verse 31, so the people of Israel occupied the territory of the Amorites. After Moses sent men to explore the Jazer area, they captured all the towns in the region and drove out the Amorites who lived there. Then they turned and marched up the road to Bashan, but King Og of Bashan and all his people attacked them at Edrei. The Lord said to Moses, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have handed him over to you, along with all his people and his land. Do the same to him as you did to King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon." And Israel killed King Og, his sons, and all his subjects. Not a single survivor remained. Then Israel occupied their land. I think I might be done for today. Let's check. Yes, that was 19, 20, and 21. I was going to look something up real quick. Something caught my eye. Other than that book. Victory over the Canaanites. Moabites. Edom. I'm curious. don't remember what caught my eye. I should have looked it up at that moment. But I'm going to look real quick to see if this book is in here. Book of the Wars of the Lord. Book of the Wars of the Lord. Man, I can't remember what I was going to look up. Book. LMNOPQRS. Book of Life. Book. That's it. Book and Book of Life. That's what's in this dictionary. Heshbon. Sihon. Brown snake. Nope, I do not remember. Water purification, maybe? Well, I have to go back over it and find out, but there was something that caught my eye, and I wanted to get some historical reference over it. Let me know, guys. Let me know what you guys think of today's reading, if there was any questions or any in particular interpretations that you had, or understandings, or commentary. That concludes today's reading. On that note, thank you guys for the 5 likes. Thank you for the 6 viewers. Those of you who are hanging out in the background that may not want to say anything, but you're just listening in, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Hit the like button on the way out if you haven't hit it already. And a special shout out to Life of Key, The Wiz, Erica Benet Vlogs, and to all of you guys who are watching on the replay, thank you as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will see you guys on tomorrow. Quick prayer. It's Thursday. Lord, thank you for today, but I still can't wait for Friday so I can say thank God it's Friday. Oh, it's been a long week. Let me learn something today and rejoice in spite of my impatience for the end of the week. Amen. And I made it through another night at work. That's a hallelujah right there, because I mean, sometimes. Whew, man, every night I make it out of there, I should say hallelujah. Why, oh why am I buffering? I'm just standing there looking, paused, frozen in time. Oh, well, wait, something else is going on because the time's not moving. The time's not moving. Am I not streaming anymore? I'm streaming. Okay, there it goes. I wonder why the time stopped. Have a great day. Okay, so she did hear me. I was wondering when it buffered and when it stopped buffering. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Entrepreneur Drive 40, Entrepreneur Drive. Entrepreneur Drive 40, Entrepreneur Drive. Entrepreneur Drive 40, Entrepreneur Drive. Thanks for watching, share, like, and subscribe.